trust is really the core of any transaction. You begin to build it with an individual as a possible business partner. You use trust as the foundation with which you build your reputation. EXPO Chicago is an international art fair of contemporary and modern art. It convenes upwards of 140 international art galleries from 17 plus countries and 43 international cities. It convenes them for 5 days in Chicago at a venue that was internationally renowned for hosting an art fair for many years, and that's Navy Pier. The fair had slid in many ways to a place where the art world or collectors just didn't bother to come. What we had to do is enter back in at the highest of level, but prove and convince the world that we mattered right away. Those relationships that you begin in your early career, done right, if you are trustworthy and full of integrity in both words, deeds, and actions, will carry for many years of whatever endeavors you're doing. And I think that trust, that integrity, that work ethic and ethic in the way you do business allows success to be achieved. Trust and honesty is how I was able to build a foundation even to raise money for the International Art Fair. Major business leaders, collectors, civic leaders in Chicago that I approached to back the fair before it was the fair gave me their support, financial support, not necessarily because they wanted to make money, because the deal is not a multi-million-dollar deal. If one looks at a transaction, how can I win all the time? I don't think the long-term win is really possible, because after all, if both or several involved in that transaction aren't finding a benefit from that, then there is no long-term future, there is no win. And trust really is at the core, because after all, you can't do that for a long term if you're not both trustworthy or have presented that opportunity in a sphere of what I think is a trustworthy and open way. I don't think EXPO Chicago would be without the trust or the support of not only the business community, the civic community, the cultural community, and most importantly, the artists and the galleries and the cultural community of Chicago. You know, we were proud to have partnered with Jeannie Gang to design the fair. That was a statement of trust. That was a statement to the international art world that we were going to build an international art fair with the imprimatur and the stamp of a great internationally renowned architect. I can spin, or we can spin all we spin, but if the testimonial is coming from a trustworthy individual, respected in their field, whether it's a critic or a curator or a collector or an art dealer, an influential art dealer, if they're saying this is special or this is good or this is important, that sets a whole nother layer of foundation for, in my case, an international art fair success. I think that it's a multicultural world, and clearly this is an international art fair that allows for 17, 18 countries and 45 to 50 international cities to represent works from around the world. So the transactions of information has to be global. I would say building trust within that is no different than building trust, as we've talked about, individual to individual. Trust in relationships, trust in partnerships, trust in vision, trust in those that were backing this fair, trust in the statements of support from our civic leaders, our mayor, our city departments. The collective of all of that allowed all of us working on EXPO Chicago to present that first fair in a way that we knew was going to make a statement to the world, and has continued to allow us to refine it, to grow it, to make it, again, an impossible fair to miss.